But the chimes only lasted an instant, and the quiet laughter could be heard once more. The music began again, and the dreams danced more wildly than before, taking their color from the rooms. None of the dancers dared go into the black room, as the light streaming through the windows was redder and more bloody than ever, and the room appeared even more terrifying. The other rooms were full. People were enjoying themselves at the prince's party. None of the guests thought about the suffering and death outside the castle. When the clock struck midnight, the music stopped and the dancers were still. The clock sounded its 12th chime, and people noticed a masked figure enter the blue room. The news of the stranger's arrival spread quickly throughout the suite. At first, people felt surprise and disapproval. Then they showed their horror. There were many bizarre costumes at the party that night, but everyone agreed that the stranger's costume went too far. The figure was tall and thin, and he was dressed from head to foot in the clothes of death. His mask looked like the face of a dead person, and it was hard to tell if it was real or not. The masked stranger had dressed as the Red Death. His clothes were dripping with blood, and there was blood on his face and forehead. The stranger moved slowly among the dancers. When Prince Prospero first saw him, he shook with terror, but then his face grew red with anger. The music stopped as he started to speak. "Who dares to insult us like this?" he cried. "Who dares to come here and make fun of us? Hold him and take off his mask, so that we may know who it is. We will hang him at sunrise." The prince's words echoed through the 7 rooms, for he was a strong, brave man. While he was speaking, some of the dancers moved toward the stranger. A terrible fear took hold of them, and no one could put out his hand and grab the masked figure. While all the dancers moved back against the walls of the rooms, the stranger walked slowly from the blue room to the purple room, from the purple room to the green room, then to the orange, to the white, and on to the violet. No one tried to stop him. Then Prince Prospero, angry with himself for his fear, ran quickly through the 6 rooms after the stranger. The prince pulled out his sword and ran to attack the masked figure. When the stranger reached the black room, he turned suddenly. There was a loud cry. The sword dropped onto the black carpet, and Prince Prospero fell to the floor, dead. A crowd of dancers found the courage to attack the stranger. They grabbed the masked figure and pulled off his mask and costume. They looked in horror. The mask and costume were empty. There was no one inside. Everyone realized that the stranger was the Red Death. He had come like a thief in the night to steal their hope, their happiness, and their lives. One by one, the dancers died. No one escaped the terrible death. The castle had no defense against the evil plague. Soon the 7 rooms were filled with blood. When the last dancer died, the great black clock stopped, and the fires in the corridor went out. There was nothing but darkness, decay, and the Red Death.